Because we're starting off a brand new year, we are starting afresh, and therefore we're going to do something that you've probably never seen at Va-Dor. We're going to start on time. We're starting at 5:30, and we're going to try to end on time, but I need to have everybody's attention. I'm willing to wait. You folks are very lucky. I had extensive notes, sermons, words of wisdom that I was going to impart with you. However, I left them all at home. Therefore, it's going to be mostly music, and the amount of talking will be rather minimal, but I will share some words of happiness, how to achieve happiness, from the greatest author on happiness that I know. His name is Rabbi Sam Silver, and I brought his book, How to Enjoy This Moment. And I'm going to share some words with him. And I also have the greatest therapist that I have met, and she is going to come up and also share some wonderful words with us. And now we're going to start welcoming everyone with a song that means how awesome, how wonderful, how good it is for all of us to be here today, out in the open air, in sunshine without any rain, celebrating Simchat Torah together. Welcome. Hinei Matov.
Please sing along to anything that we do.
And try to sing on key, but if you can't, that's okay too.
And if you don't know it, you'll know it quickly. Hinei Matov.
Qué agradable es unirse en paz, celebrando como hermanos. Oh merveilleux et magnifique, célébrer comme frères ensemble, comme moi jaillir. Wa movir, anaisha iwatan wahad. Anaisha iwatan wachad, Hinei matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Did you notice when I sang in Arabic, together was wachad, and in Hebrew it's yachad. The language of Hebrew and Arabic are as close together as brother and sister. We also sang it in Spanish because this is Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, in order to shed a little light on this occasion, we always like to have light We don't have any actual candles, but use your imagination because we're now going to hear a song called I Am Light.
And please sing it with me. I am light, I am light. That's your part. I am light,
I am
light. And again. I am
Everyone. I am light. Don't refrain from the refrain.
I am light,
I am light.
not my part. I am not the mistakes that I made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I'm not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light. Again now. I am light.
I am light.
I am light. I am light. We are light. We are light. We are light.
The astrophysicists tell us that every atom in our body originally came from a star, a supernova that exploded. We are therefore this light incorporated within us. We are not our age. We are not our race. We are not our gender. We are not our mistakes. There is an essence within us, a core, a neshama, a soul. That's truly who we are. And the goal of this service and all services is to discover that soul, to discover our essence, and to realize that we are all superstars and we can be a light to other people.
We are light. We are light.
It's my pleasure to call up Sharon Leibovitz for some readings appropriate to this holiday.
Everybody's so excited to see each other. They're just talking and visiting.
Shalom, happy Sukkot, Chag Sameach, everybody. I'm Sharon Leibovitz, and I want to welcome everybody here. And if you didn't get a flag or a bit of honey, please see the end of the table over there. So I have a reading. We have heard the sound. We have heard the sound. It's cutting out.
Help.
Yeah, you can't twist it.
We have heard the sound of the shofar calling us to reawakening. We have fasted, we have prayed, and considered our lives and our deeds. We have given thanks for the harvest and peered towards the sky through the sukkah's spaces. Now our cycle ends and begins with song and dance, and I hope you all dance. And to our hearts, we clasp our tree of life. Eternal Torah, the more we hold you close, the more you lift us up. We will be glad and we will rejoice. This day we complete the reading of the Torah and begin it anew. For our eternal and inexhaustible teaching, whose gift is new life to all who turn to it, we give thanks. May our love and reverence of our Torah never fade away, and may this day and all the days of our lives be filled with joy, be filled with happiness, and be filled with shalom. Let us say together, Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you, Sharon. I do want to introduce this song. It's Shachayanu, who gives thanks for life. I'm not sure how many people when they woke up said, I'm happy to be alive. This is great, awesome. I know Emily does. I don't know about everybody else. I do also want to introduce to you officially Carol Garrett. She's been playing for us for a while. You haven't really heard much about her. She has a master's degree in music. She has performed for congregations for decades. She's been a tutor of music. She knows all aspects of Jewish liturgy, and she creates her own music. And we are very lucky to have her. We have a lot of innovative things, and so she fits right in with Va-Dor. It's a pleasure to work with her, and she's going to sing Shehecheyanu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Sing with us.
Thanks for life on this day. Now you are going to hear Carol's original version of the Shema. The whole point of the Shema is that we all need to look at this world and everything in it as one. Not this political party and that political party, or this country and that country, or even this species and that species. We're all part of that one light that's within all of us. The Shema calls us to see the unity all around us where others might see division. Shema.
As soon as you catch on, sing along. Ya da 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 ya di da 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 ya da 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 ya di da 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 da. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Listen, O Israel, to the mighty voice within. Hear the echo of your famous song. Celebrate life and the miracle that we share. Feel the power, know our God is one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Now we have another song about standing at the sea. Now we don't always take all the stories literally, but this really did happen, that the Jews have had their backs to the wall. We were very, very worried and concerned, but we moved forward. We showed courage and tenacity, and we ended up on the other side, and people danced. And so we're going to dance today, and to get you in the mood for dancing, we have some stellar musicians. We have the incomparable Arny Pickholtz, who's going to do his thing and play some dance music, and his fraternal ancestor, his brother, is also here, I believe for the first time performing for Va-Dor, and the two of them, because we started out how wonderful it is for brothers to be together, Hinei Matov, how wonderful it is to have these brothers together. They will be performing, so don't get too relaxed, because we're at the shore of the sea, and we're going to get moving pretty soon.
Standing at the sea because water. Michamoka, walking through the water. Michamoka, walking through the water. Michamoka, freedom is on our way. Clap! One God, Michamoka, one God. Michamoka, one God. Michamoka, freedom is on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom is on our way.
If you're wondering why Carol likes that song so much, Micha Mocha, why is that her favorite song? She has two dogs. One of them is called Micha, and the other one is called Mocha.
True story.
And that's why she also likes coffee ice cream, because of mocha. Okay, now we're going to sing at this time where we celebrate the shelter of the sukkah. We're going to celebrate the shelter that our ancestors envisioned was provided for us. The shelter we know of this amazing atmosphere that keeps out all the bad things and allows the good stuff to come through so we can live. Ashkivenu.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom L'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim Uvros Aleinu Sukkot Sameach Uvros Aleinu Sukkot Sameach.
You shelter us beneath ozone, Adonai. The miracles that you now done, you protect earth and sky to keep us safe throughout the night. Earth's heavenly atmosphere, let's invite so life can thrive down here.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom L'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim Uvros Aleinu Sukkot Sameach Uvros Aleinu Sukkot Sameach.
This earthly plane and all the universe is your domain. Life you maintain, as science does explain the miracles of nature's laws. Create life and sustain. Amen. We give thanks for the sukkah that symbolizes the protection of the Jewish people throughout all of our wandering. We give thanks for this shelter, which the city of Boynton was kind enough to put up today, just in time for us to be here to celebrate. We give thanks for the ionosphere and for ozone protecting us from all those deadly rays. We give thanks for the gift of life on this planet, which is one in perhaps trillions that can sustain life. Let us indeed give thanks. Now we have another Carol original, Adonai, Sefatai. Our ancestors wondered, where do these words come from? These wonderful, eloquent words of praise. They must come from a source beyond us, a divine source. Well, in a way, they were right. We look at things around the world and we see the majesty in it, and it fills us with words of praise. Adonai Sefatai.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, show us the answer. Adonai, grant us shalom in my life. Bring this world together and show us how to live as one. Show us how to live as one.
Now, this is not one of my original songs or Carol's. This is a song you all know. So you have no excuse not to sing. If you believe that it would be nice if there was peace in the world, join us. If you're neutral or not real big on peace, you can remain silent. Oseh shalom bimromav.
Oh, say
Shalom bimromav. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'emru. Imru. Amen. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'yarko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'yarko Yisrael. Everyone. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'yarko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'yarko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'yarko Yisrael. Also want to thank Carol for bringing her family with us. The dogs didn't make it this time, but the family did. Want to thank Sharon for bringing Ed with us, who's doing a great job back there on the camera. He's doing an amazing job standing right there and making sure it's pointed in the right direction. Muchísimas gracias por todo que tú hiciste. And who else?
That's another story.
Oh, Arny hopes is turned on. Oh, ye of
And
little
all
faith.
of you for being here.
And thank you everybody for being here. This is a really great crowd, and you're doing a great job singing. This song is called Giving Thanks for the World. You may have heard the original melody a long time ago when they wrote good music. A creative power flows inside of me, which can be traced back to antiquity. And as reason makes clear, species rise then disappear, and evolution led to you and me.
Something in the wind whispers God's name, but if our view of God does not remain the same, as I gaze towards the sky, I don't see a bearded guy. Evolution explains from whence we came.
I'm giving thanks for the world and the works of creation, and the greatest explanation I can find is a process profound that's occurring all around, evolving from amoebas to mankind. When I fully use my heart and mind And when faith and science are at last aligned, the evidence makes clear how all living things got here. We evolved through time and we were not designed. Miracles abound in you and me. We're a product of the heavens and the sea. The remains of a superstar describe exactly who we are, and the same is true for all life that we see. I'm giving thanks for the world and the works of creation, and the greatest explanation I can find is that a process profound is occurring all around, evolving from amoebas to mankind. And we thank you. We also give thanks to Charles Darwin for allowing the universe to finally figure out how it got here for the first time. We now continue with the Torah service. Today we're celebrating Simchat Torah. The Torah is cherished by modern Jews, not because it's infallible, not because it was written by a divine being, not because we just follow each word to the letter. It was not written by God. It was written by people in search of God, our people. And it gives their first understanding of the world around us, their first effort to understand all of this magnificent universe, the first effort to understand our place in it, and the first effort to figure out how we can live in harmony with each other. And the best way is to look right back there and see all those kids running around, laughing, playing together, and not taking themselves so seriously like their parents probably do. And so we are giving thanks for this world, and we're going to rejoice in the Torah because it gives a vision, if interpreted rationally, of what this world could be, and our ancestors gave their lives for that vision, and we hope that we are worthy of this wonderful heritage. We can show our worthiness by working hard to make their vision come true. So now we have our Torah service, and we start out with Ki Mitzion.
Ki Mitzion Tetze Torah, Ki Mitzion Tetze Torah, Udevar Adonai Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato.
We now have the, yes, we do the blessing before the Torah. We're gonna read from the very, very end of the Torah, and then we're gonna read from the very beginning of it. That is to show that learning never ends, and we're constantly learning, and as soon as we're done, we are back at it again. Right here. Then we're going to, after we finish reading this, my program is correct, we're going to have some really awesome dance music. So we start out with the, Suzanne is going to come up and do something. I think it's the blessing before the Torah, probably. Is that right? Right up here.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Li'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Don't go too far. You do the blessing afterwards. All right. So the very last words of the Torah indicate one of about 1,000 different ways we know it was not written by Moses. How do we know that? Well, it says he lived to be 120 years old. That's possible, I suppose. It also said that all of his bodily fluids were working accurately, which is a euphemism for, I'm not going to bother telling you because there's kids back there who can still hear my voice. It also starts to brag a little bit, which is uncharacteristic of Moses. He was very humble. But the giveaway, the way we know it couldn't have been, is it says, and there has never been a prophet like Moses until this very day. That could only have been written by someone after the time of Moses. It's possible when he got old he started bragging, but it's not possible that he could have said, there's never been a prophet like me until this day. And this is one of the indications. But what the Torah is trying to tell us, if you believe in a cause and you really are so enthused with it, enthused means having God within you, theos is God, if you're enthused, you remain strong and vigorous till the end, usually. All right, so here we go. Moshe v'haya Yoshua ben Nun melo ruach v'chachma ki samach Moshe et yadav elav. Joshua, the son of Nun, was now going to be the next leader, and so Moses conferred a ritual that is still done today. Samach yadav. You know what yad means? Yad means hand. Samach is related to the word smicha. It means he lay his hands upon Joshua and transmitted his energy into Joshua, the new leader. V'yishma'u alav b'nei Yisrael v'asu ka'asher tzivah Adonai et Moshe. The people of Israel paid attention to him and listened to him as they did Moses. Hopefully they weren't going to grumble against Joshua like they do with Moses incessantly, but they did pay attention. Asher yado Adonai panav el panav. You know what panim or punam means? Punam. Panav el panav means he was the only prophet ever to have known God face to face, which is also interesting because somewhere else in the Torah it says, if anybody sees God's face, they die. But he was the only one to give that acclimate. L'chol ha'otot u'maftim asher shalachu Adonai la'asot be'eretz Mitzrayim. And he was the one who orchestrated all these great marvels and miracles be'eretz Mitzrayim, in the land of Egypt, leFaro, against Pharaoh, u'lechol avadav u'lechol artso, and all of his servants and all the land, l'chol hayad ha'chazakah u'lechol hamura hagadol asher oseh Moshe le'enei kol Yisrael. And he did this in front of the people of Israel. Whether he did all of those miracles, some of us have doubts, and many of us know that it didn't quite happen that way. But what it does teach us is that if anyone wants to be a follower of Moses and they have a position of authority like a rabbi, they have to be a rabbi rouser and have to stand up to authority and have to challenge the status quo and have to ignore anyone who says, don't be political, don't take a stand, don't get involved in issues, because that is the exact opposite of what Moses did. And for everyone who is not a leader, they can become leaders and imitate the prophets of old who spoke up to the king, spoke against the power, spoke up against the elite, and spoke up for the poor and the oppressed. That's what the Torah is trying to tell us it means to be Jewish, and that is the last word of the Torah, the blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
All right. What are we going to do? Oh yeah, chazak, chazak. Yes. Yes. Yeah, for those We appeal to all the Jews, conservative, reform, orthodontists, everybody. All right, so we're going to hold up the Torah in a custom that is Simchat Torah. You know that one? Yeah, I guess we are. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazik, which means may we be strengthened by our hearing of the words of the Torah, and not be observant Jews, be active Jews. Put these words into action. Good. All right, now we are going to have some lively dance music to symbolize Simchat Torah, the joy of the Torah. I turn you over to Arny Pickholtz and his brother Alan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, well now we got to work for it. Right, Barry?
Yes, you got to
We got to work for it. Oh, you think you're going to sit there and not do anything, right? No. All right, so my sister-in-law is here, my wife, Sandy, and the object is to dance or stroll around the tables. Everybody stand up, unless you can't, and if you can't, make room. Make sure you make room for anybody who wants
Or
to.
unless you don't feel like it. We're pro-choice here, everybody. We're pro-choice.
Yeah.
You get your choice.
All right, so there's Sandy and Barbara right there. We're going to follow them around, okay? And here we go. All right, looking good. Let's go. All you guys are really good.
An applause for Arny and Alan. If you want to see them again, come back same time, same place next year. They will be, quorum. They'll be here for quorum. And also, don't run away. We got some good food over there. Some nice, wonderful, healthy food. Don't leave. We got more music now, but this is not dance. You can sit down and you can relax.
Or if you want to, you can dance.
Or you can dance, whatever you want.
I'm Israel high, I'm Israel high, I'm Israel high. I'm Israel, I'm Israel, I'm Israel high.
I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael high. I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael high. I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael, I'm Yisrael high. Avinu high, Od Avinu high, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu high, Od Avinu high, Od Avinu high, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu high. The people of Israel live, and our parents and our ancestors live on through us. Od Avinu Chai, they are still alive within us.
Hava, Nagila,
Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila Ben Yismacha. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila Ben Yismacha.
Hava, Nerina, Hava, Nerina, Hava, Nerina, Nerina, Hava, Nerina, Hava, Nerina, Hava, Nerina,
Urachim lesameach, urachim lesameach, urachim lesameach, urachim lesameach, urachim, urachim lesameach. Let us rejoice with a happy heart.
Soon the day will arrive when we will live together and no longer will men live in fear. And the children will smile without wondering whether on that day a new dark thread will appear. Wait and see what a world it will be if you care, if we share, you and me. Oh today, come adore me, Vashana, Vashana, Hava. trees they will grow. The tender leaf will blossom and the fruit of our hands will be sweet. And the winds that bring change will clear away the ashes, and the family will go forth to meet. Oh, tire, come and join me here. Bashana, Bashana, Abba.
That song says that next year things will be even better. The Jewish people are incurable optimists. To be a Jew is to be jubilant. That's why we're celebrating today. And the optimist sees the cup half full, pessimist half empty, but the Yiddish cup, it's always full. And when you see the world as full of wonder, and full of joy, and full of beauty, it becomes wonderful, joyful, and beautiful. Now we're going to call up...
Oh, yes, I go.
Oh, yes, I go. Oh, yilmadu od milchama. Oh, yes, I go. Oh, yilmadu od milchama. Oh, yes, I go. They won't learn war anymore. Now, I think, no, we're not doing it. Now, Sharon's coming up to do the blessing before the Torah.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach li'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amayim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Bereshit bara Elohim et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. In the beginning, our ancestors believed God created the heavens and the earth. V'ha'aretz hayata tohu v'avohu. The earth was without shape, or as they say in Old English, it was null and void. V'choshech al pnei tohom. Darkness floated above the waters of the depths. V'ruach Elohim rachefet al pnei hamayim. God's spirit was hovering over the oceans. Vayomer Elohim. God said, Yehi or. Let there be light. The word or is related to oro, gold in Spanish, and ora, which is a light around certain things. Vayi or, let there be light. Vayar Elohim et ha'or yitov. God saw the light was good. Vayavdel Elohim ben ha'or uben ha'choshech. He divided light from darkness. Vayikra Elohim l'or yom. The choshech kara laila, called the light day. Darkness he called night. Vayi ere, vayi voker yom echad. It was evening and morning, first day, to show that whenever it gets dark, always followed by the dawn. That's again why we are optimists. The blessing now after the Torah. Here.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Now, there's a lot of wonderful stories in the book of Genesis, not all of which we take literally. If you look at the geological record, the story of Noah doesn't quite hold water. If you look at the way languages were evolved, it didn't happen quite the way Babel says, the Tower of Babel. It's actually just a tall story. If you look at what happened to Lot's wife, You notice that there's a lot of salt mines out there. We don't believe it. We just take that story with a grain of salt. But why is it that we consider the Torah so precious? Because it teaches that all of us are created in a divine image. We are all created good, and we all have the capacity to return to that wonderful divine image. And if we do that, we achieve happiness. My father wrote the book on happiness, and I'm going to read you a little bit from the book. To a great degree, the curse of our time and place is sloth. It is easier to read picture magazines than Harper's or the Saturday Review. Easier to watch TV than write a letter to the editor about a local problem, or to one's congressman about a national issue. Easier to grow a paunch than stick to a program of regular exercise, but we can be motivated to do the better things if we are fully aware of all the beautiful gifts that surround us now, ripe for enjoyment, and they are all around us. Do you remember when we all knew this? Turn back in memory with me through the newspaper files to the end of World War I or II. We find photographs of uniformed Americans returning to these shores at war's end and literally kissing the ground in a fusion of gratitude. Have you kissed the God-given earth lately? More important, because I don't recommend this literally, have you reminded yourself recently that you are lucky to be here? How happy we should be to be here. Perhaps that is worthy of a written reminder. In July '66, the Associated Press ran a story worth remembering. It concerned Roberta Scott, a youthful, talented beauty queen, water skier, and artist who in '61 was second runner-up for the Miss Oklahoma Beauty Queen title. 3 years later, she had to have a leg amputated as a result of cancer. This beautiful American is still a water skier and artist. Even more, she is hard at work helping elementary school students who are slow or retarded. She said, "I'd rather lose my leg than my life. I get too much enjoyment out of life to sit and gripe about it." And her philosophy, which keeps her active and happy, includes these 6 magic words: "I'm so glad to be alive." Perhaps that too is worth a written reminder. Does it require another world war or a bout with cancer to make you realize how lucky you are? Doesn't your relative good luck, your relative good health, really require you to be happy? Look back 2,000 years. If you had been born then, chances are you'd be a slave or a soldier. Look around the world now. If you were born when you were, but in China or India, chances are you'd be ill-educated or ill-fed or short-lived, or all three. My friend, you are probably happier than you realized. And almost certainly happier than you have acted. I'll stop there. My books, my dad's book is available at my house in my garage. I'll bring some out. It is the key to finding happiness. But in Va-Dor, we combine Judaism and science. And therefore I have somebody now who knows the science of happiness. She is a doctor trained in what it takes to be happy. Her name is Dr. Marcy Weiss. She is going to lead a whole course for us by Zoom, and she's going to have a beautiful film that she does, but for now I'm going to have her come up and share a few words with us as a little preview. We're very lucky to have her as part of our congregational family. Good friend of mine also, and of Carol, Dr. Marcy Weiss. Come on up and share a little bit about the science of happiness.
Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
What an introduction. We've got a song and a rabbi. Thank you all very much. That was excellent. How many people here are happy? That is wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. But you know, some people, especially during the COVID and all the things that have happened the last year or so, are not so happy. And I see people that come in to see me and they're sad or they're depressed or they're hopeless or helpless. And I thought I'd put together a few things today
that are instantaneous ways that you can be happy. Because, you know, sometimes we do get a little bit down, as happy as we are. But there are some very real things that you can do to be happy. First of all, our brain is like a computer, right? We program it, and we program the things that we put in at the computer. So if we put in some negative things, if we think negative thoughts, then that's what we're going to be focused on, right? So if we put in positive, hopeful things, things of gratitude, then the computer is going to spit that out too, right? So it's really important the things that we think of. Also, whenever a person's not feeling so good, or if you're not feeling so happy, we tend to breathe very shallow instead of taking deep breaths. So what happens actually, physiologically, is that the brain is not getting enough oxygen. So very simply, what one can do is to breathe deep breaths. Breathing in and exhaling. And if you do that about 10 times, about the 5th time, you're going to notice that actually your muscles begin to relax and you begin to feel a little bit better all the time. Another important way to change your mood and to get happy is acts of kindness. We know that just doing something good for someone else, just doing a mitzvah or a special deed, that in itself is enough to get someone out of depression. Can you believe it? Just that one thing we know makes people feel much, much better when you do something for someone else. Also, focus on what you can control, right? We can't control the weather, we can't control some of the events in the world, but what we can control is how we feel and how we believe and what's in front of us. So whenever you find yourself wandering, you can put yourself right back in the present, you know? You can look down at your feet and say, where's my feet?
What do my shoes look like? Or do I need a pedicure, right?
Exercise and sleep and eating right, I'm sure you've heard that time and time again, but it really does work. When you exercise, you're getting all the oxygen, you're getting your joints moving, everything moving, and it really helps with our mood as well. Humor is a good way to do that. Someone told me the other day, what do basketball players, why do they love donuts? And I didn't know the answer, maybe you do, but the answer is because they love to dunk. Okay, that was a cheap shot, but anyway. So for me, the number one thing that gets me in a good mood and happy is gratitude. Whenever I think, hey, things couldn't get much worse, then I think, oh, yes, they could. They could be a lot worse. And then I start counting on the things that I really am grateful for. You know, my family, my health, the air that I breathe, being here on earth, being able to help others. And I'm sure you can think of a lot more as well. So this is a time, this is my favorite holiday actually, Simchat Torah. It's a great time to be happy and joyous. And I hope these few tips have helped you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Weiss. Those were some beautiful comments. She could read the phone book and she'd make me feel calm and peaceful and nice. And she reminds me that not only should we avoid shallow breathing, we should try to avoid shallow thinking and think beyond our own political or partisan persuasions. Also, what she said about the mind. The mind is like a field. The field can produce a great harvest if you plant wheat. It can produce poisons if you plant strychnine. The mind is neutral. Whatever we plant in it, that will determine what it produces, and let us put good things in it so that we can have a good harvest. That's what Sukkot is all about. Planting and reaping a harvest of what it is that we're sowing. And now we're going to spend a few moments in silent meditation about thinking about what we have to be grateful for. It won't be totally silent, but when you hear the sound of the kids in the background, let us also be grateful for our kids. I have my kids on my tie right here. The reason is because I believe in family ties. And right here. So we're going to spend a few moments of silent meditation.
do that deep breathing that Marcy spoke of, Dr. Weiss.
We invite you to think of all the people that are sick. If you want to, we can go around the room and you can say their names out loud. And we'll start over here. And just feel free to say their names
Anybody
aloud.
want to mention a name? If you didn't say it out loud, say it in your heart. And we're hoping for Misha Berach for all those who are not doing well, especially in Haiti, Afghanistan, New Orleans, throughout the U.S., and a lot of other regions of the world. Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Kor HaBracha May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Kor HaBracha Avotenu. Those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We're almost done, folks, but we're going to do Romamu and then a concluding song or two, and then we're going to have some good stuff to eat, so don't go running off. This song is called Romamu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lecha Kodecho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lecha Kodecho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lecha Kodecho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lecha Kodecho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu.
Now we are going to conclude with a beautiful song written by two Jewish guys. One wrote the lyrics, and the other wrote the music. Two Jewish guys, children of refugees who dreamed when they were in Europe of a better world. It's called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. They were talking about what they thought of America when they were living under oppression in Europe. We give thanks for America. I've altered the last few lines, and it's talking about our ancestors trying to touch the sky by thinking about this power greater than ourselves. And if they could do it, why, oh why, can't I?
Please sing with us. I know you all know it. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney top. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, little, why can't I?
If our ancestors touched the sky in their searching for Shaddai, then why, oh why can't I? Thank you. Now, we're in lieu of a final benediction and everything else, I'm going to give thanks for my kids. I got awesome memories of playing Frisbee with my kids. I'm grateful for playing Frisbee with my kids. I know you're grateful for 100 other things. And the Frisbee teaches us important lessons. If it was all one color, you couldn't read it. The words would be unlegible. You couldn't read it. If the Frisbee wasn't this shape, it wouldn't fly. And if it wasn't for an invisible power that keeps it aloft called air, it would get nowhere. So the Frisbee reminds us to give thanks for all of those things. Now, we have some awesome events coming up. And I just want everyone here to know something. I want you to know something. This year, we are facing unprecedented assaults against our freedoms and our rights. Democracy is under attack. It's becoming a democracy. The climate is in grave danger. Women's rights, their reproductive freedom is under assault. Science is being attacked. Congregation Va-Dor will be even more active than we've ever been before because the stakes are higher. And also, we now have hope that there are people in Washington, D.C. that could turn everything around. This is our last chance. This is our last gasp. I'm calling on everyone to strengthen this congregation and any congregation that's talking about these issues. If you want to be Jewish, it is not a spectator sport. Next week, we'll be talking abortion. And right before an abortion rally. In 2 weeks, we'll be talking climate change. Come join us. Be with us. We need your support. Thank you very much for coming out here today. I appreciate it. And thank you, Carol, Arny, Alan, Sharon, Ed, Suzanne. Thank you. Amen. Go eat. Go have something to eat. Melech Yisrael. Chai Chai V'Kayam. Navi 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 Melech Yisrael. Chai Chai V'Kayam. One other thing I left out, with all these Israeli flags, Israel has been given a strong vote of support for the Iron Dome. We're going to continue to strongly support Israel, and I hope that we'll also chastise those people, even if they're in our own party, who don't recognize that if you believe in civil rights, then you should champion the one bastion of civil rights and freedom for women, gays, minorities in the Middle East, the beautiful, wonderful state of Israel. Let us give thanks that we live in a time when Israel is in Jewish hands. Let us keep it that way because it's a blessing not just for Jews, but for Jews, Christians, Muslims, and Baha'is, all of whom have their holy sites in that land and all of whom are respected. We will continue to strongly support Israel. Thank you very much.